Big day today, I get my first ever Dexa scan. Woo.
So after our little encounter with the weighing scales yesterday, what do you think the result's going to be, James?
I think it might be a bit shocking. I think it's probably going to show me around 25% body fat, something like that.
So it's day 2 of my Fat Loss Academy, and I want to talk about a really interesting topic. Might be basic for some people, but a lot of people get this kind of wrong, and it's the concept of losing weight versus losing body fat. Okay, now we all know that body fat's the thing that counts, but so many of us tend to find ourselves jumping onto the scales and weighing ourselves every day and using the scales and the difference in body weight as the marker for progress. Obviously, to keep yourself motivated when you're trying to lose body fat or lose body weight, I think it's really important to be aware of the difference between the two. And we're basically talking about this concept of body composition, which is how much muscle you have versus how much fat you have.
Okay, so we just got off the tube at Bank and we are pretty close to the Dexa scan place. Very excited. I wonder what 104 kilos is going to translate to in real body fat percentage.
The standard thing might be for someone to jump on the scales regularly and maybe get a little bit demotivated because they don't see the scales going down or not in the pattern they think. One of the reasons for this is that our bodies are made up of around 70 or 80% of just water, okay? And there's a big fluctuation in your water levels across the day and across the week. For women, the menstrual cycle will make the water levels in their body rapidly change from day to day. So water levels in the body can be one of the main things that can show a sudden drop or a sudden gain in weight. So that's one great reason not to jump on the scales every day. And if you are going to use the scales as your main system of judging your fat loss, certainly don't weigh yourself every day. You'll end up hating life. And I've done it myself, to be honest, and I've had my clients do it. But once a week, if you do weigh yourself on the scales, I suggest that you weigh yourself always at the same time of day. Personally, I would suggest first thing in the morning, go to the bathroom, no food in the stomach, and hopefully you're keeping a consistent sleeping pattern, and you'll get a consistent reading once a week. There are other reasons why some of these readings can change as well, and one of those would be the amount of food that we've eaten. So if you've had a bowel movement, you're obviously going to be lighter than if you didn't. That could be like half a kilo, so that could completely throw off your motivation one day if you look down at the scales and you were heavier than yesterday.
So James is about to go in for his Dexa scan, see how much fat is on the body, which is not going to be a lot, I think. So he's currently signing his life away. How do you feel, James?
I think I'm going for major surgery or something.
What we need to look at is more effective ways to check your progress when you are losing body fat. So another popular system, and one that I've tried a few times, is what we call a BIA, or Bioelectrical Impedance Analysis. So it's a bit of a mouthful, but it's basically one of those scales you would find at home or maybe in the doctor's office, where you would stand with bare feet on 2 little metal supports. Potentially you'd hold your hands as well. What happens is an electric current goes through your body, and the different tissues in the body, lean tissue, fat mass, bones, etc., they resist the current in a particular way depending on the tissue, and you'll get a guesstimation on your body fat. Generally you'll see a higher reading on a bioelectrical impedance than you would on a caliper test. So I guess for the fitness crowd, we like using caliper tests because we get a lower reading, and it's all about, you know, how low is my body fat. The third one, and I'm pleased to say I had my first one today, is a Dexa scan. So Dexa scan's a new technology. It's basically going to give you the most detailed readings about all the different types of tissues in your body, and even tells you about bone density.
I need you to lie on the table on your back, head at this end, and I need you to send yourself down the middle of the table as much as you can.
Yep, sounds good. How's that?
Yeah, that looks good.
Cool.
Good stuff.
Okay, so the results are in. I am actually less fat than I expected. According to Mr. Body Scan UK, 18.6%. So for you guys that guessed below 20, you were right. And this is like how your weight's distributed across your body. So you've got like the fat in your arms versus the fat in your trunk versus the fat in your legs. So one thing that's really interesting to me is, doesn't really mean anything, but proportionally I have fatter arms than I have a fat trunk and fat legs, and I would have thought it would have been the other way around. Another one that's really interesting is this shows you your lean mass across your arms and your trunk and your legs, and it basically says that if the line is straight, it's even distribution, and in my case I'm pretty surprised to see that my legs aren't much higher and my arms and trunk are less. because at the end of the day, from like a sort of bodybuilding point of view, I've got massive legs and like average sized arms, so it's interesting to see that's a straight line. Bone density, interesting topic. So the guy was basically saying that it's not detailed enough a scan to be like a medical like bone density, but it gives a very good indication of bone density. And what he said, that I have extremely dense bones. Yeah, so my entire skeleton weighs 3.8 kilos. Who would have thought? 3.8 kilos, that includes bone marrow as well. So it's one hell of a structure if it can support another 100 kilos on top of that. So yeah, he said particularly strong bones. I've never broken a bone or fractured a bone, so that's after years of playing rugby, mountain biking, gymnastics, weightlifting. So obviously got good bones, but I'm not big boned, and that's the difference. So I think the take home for this point is there are lots of other ways to check your progress when you're losing body fat other than standing on the scales every day, okay? So the most important thing is that you choose a system that's readily available to you and you can be consistent when you do it. So for example, a Dexa scan is quite expensive and you're probably going to have to travel to a facility. So you probably don't want to do that one every couple of weeks. You may want to find your own home system, or you might your own caliper test, find a personal trainer that can test you, or find someone that's qualified. But it's like comparing apples and oranges. You need to be basically comparing the same system. Otherwise, one day you're going to be 4%, then you use a different system, you're going to be 20%, and you're just going to want to kill yourself and give up on your diet, and we don't want that. All right, thanks for listening, and happy fat loss.